Thank you very much for your time, for your comments, for the feedbacks, for your encouragement, left, right, and center. Thank you for the calls. Thank you for the messages. I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it, and this journey is gonna be awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Today I wanted to just give a run back, or rather, try to see where all this started, and basically, should begin from when I was born, roughly. But I wanted to kind of have where this thought really came through. My Christian life was a bit shaky in sometimes. Sometimes you're hot, sometimes you're cold, sometimes you're walking right, sometimes you're not, and it has been a roller coaster. And it reached a point, it was so exhausting, so nerve-wracking, and I just had to really sit back and just take a setback and just try to understand what is the problem, where could all this be coming from. And I met a few people, a few religious people out there, talked to a few people here and there, and in that and in everything, and even trying to go on my knees and just asking God, okay, I'm tired of this life of on and off. Today I'm legitly, if I could use that word, legitly born again. Tomorrow I'm just shaky, and to me that's not the way to be. You're either hot or you're cold. You're either, even the Revelation says that, you're either hot or you're cold. If you're doing bad, continue doing bad. If you're doing good, continue doing good. There's no in between. God does not appreciate lukewarm. And it has been a challenge. It has been a roller. It has been a really, really huge burden for me. And I really had to sit back and just say, you know what, I cannot continue doing this anymore. So what is wrong? Why am I always having these setbacks? And I understand I'm not supposed to be like all righteous. I understand, even a Christian, there's some few areas where you fall, not that I'm propagating for that, but I'm saying, that, as a human being, there are those areas you fall. But in my situation, it was like the same thing is bringing me down. The same thing is bringing me down. And it really got to me, and it really took me to a place of just feeling tired and just feeling, you know what, I'm done. I need something. I need some change in my life. If I am born again, I'm gonna be born again. If not, then let me live my life. But I cannot always be shaking, one leg in, one leg out. It's just too much. It's exhausting, for lack of a better word. So I had to go back and, after these consultations and talking to people here and there and trying to figure out. I remember one person, actually two people, told me that I'm a coward. And on a normal day, I would really, get mad or get pissed, what are you talking about? But when I look at it, it is true. I'm a coward. I don't want commitments in anything. I'm not, at least I tried in my previous marriage. At least I tried that. I know I tried. And a few other places here and there. But in general terms, or the holistic nature of me, it is true without knowing, lack of a better word, subconsciously, I am not really committed to some stuff, and it bugs me, especially my walk in Christ. My salvation needs to be firm, regardless. Anything else can fall, but that, at least, that needs to stand. And it was bothering me. It was pestering me. It was just huge. And so after all that, and so now I went down and I started now changing my prayer life. It started becoming more of, I need to understand where it is coming from, why all this. And that is why I realized that my past has been a huge deal, or rather has played a huge part in me. And I realized that just as God uses generation, like in terms of He blesses one, He blesses the entire generation, just like He did in Abraham. even the enemy is scheming and tricky in the sense that he has nothing original. So he uses what God does and flips it. So if God blesses, like in the lineage, then the enemy will come and curse a lineage. So you might find yourself in a position where you're drinking. You're not really a drunkard, or you don't even fancy being a drunkard or doing, some sort of vices, but you find yourself drinking. If you follow up your lineage properly, you'll find your great-grandfather or your great-great-grandfather was a drunkard, even though you don't feel like you want that lifestyle, but it's there, it's cropping up. And that is why, just going back and trying to trace where we're coming from, or how our lineage is usually vital. It's important. And even you could see, even long ago, when people were ready to get married. Long ago, families would go and inquire about the other family. Who's your grandfather? Who's your great-grandfather? What do they do? What occupation are they in? And so on and so forth. Before they even accept giving in to marriage, or giving a hand to marriage, or whatever, they used to dig deep to the roots of the family, because some things are just generational. You can have generational blessings as well as you can have generational curses. And some things are usually coming up on and on and on and on. But the good news is that there's a solution, and the solution is in Christ. And God, when Christ died, he said it is finished. Like everything that the enemy has held on us is finished. All we need to do is focus on him, look up to him. Where does our help come from? It comes from God. That's it. That's the solution right there. So in this battle that I was going through, I started praying about, God, I'm done. This life is tiring. I'm done, with this life. I just need, a breakthrough, and not rather a breakthrough, but a deliverance, just to move forward. And the word healing was vital in my prayer life, in everything. It was the word that was coming up was healing, healing, healing. And that is where all this started from. That's why I even dubbed it Raw.Unscripted Healing. It's all about trying to look at my past and just try to see, okay, where did I go wrong, or what went wrong where, and what's the way forward. And I believe it's gonna kind of be common to most of us. So that's why I decided to share my story. So without further ado, that is where now this Raw.Unscripted Healing came about. So I'm gonna just try to give a sneak chat, or anyway, I'm just gonna give a sneak peek, of where it all started. Back in 1983, my mom was pregnant with me, and I was born in that year. And funny thing is that we were both at risk. And funny, or rather, sure enough, the doctors kept me stable, and my mom was in a really bad state, in the sense of she was a Catholic. So in the sense of, even a priest was called to give her, is it called the last prayers or something? Yeah, it was that serious. She had lost a lot of blood giving birth to me, and it was, everybody had lost hope. It was a done deal for her, and that was it. That is 1983, and it was a done deal. I'm gonna let you know that my mom passed on in 2017. So the enemy wanted her to leave in 83, but God had another agenda. And as we continue sharing the story, you'll find out also my mom was a vital key, or a vital role in my life, in the sense of the hardships that I faced, the pain that I went through. My mom was a vital place. But I'm not saying this in a bad way. She came back, we talked about it, and that's another story for another day. But it's important for us to understand that the reason why she never died in 83 when I was born is she still had a purpose. She still had something to fulfill. It really felt painful, and it is, even think about it, is a bit, But when I look at the holistic picture, I really it really had to happen. I remember when she came back and we had a conversation, and I asked her, what happened, when whatever was going on. Hopefully we're gonna be sharing that in the coming weeks. What happened, and she honestly told me with tears in her eyes that she does not know what happened. And at that time, I felt something leave me, like a sense of relief, and I told her from the bottom of my heart. I literally did tell her that we don't need to go back. I just needed to know that, but we don't need to get all emotional or anything, because to be honest, I wouldn't have it any other way. It was so painful. It was so, but the whole picture, when I look at it, God was in there and He knew what everything was happening, and I'm here now because of Him. And that is why I tried my best to share about my experiences. So I was born in 83. I'm the last born of three. We grew up in, my sister is the firstborn, my brother is the secondborn. They were born when they were staying in South Sea. So when I was born, I think life was, I don't know, but I was born in a place called Gitaro in Kikuyu. And I think, I don't know if that is exactly where trouble started with my mom and my dad, but eventually it grew and it became something else. I remember one time my dad just left their matrimonial bedroom and took another room, like outside somewhere, and they were in the same compound but different rooms. And for us as kids, when you're a kid, you don't really understand much, but you understand little. You understand there's something, but at least if you see them in the same compound, or if you see them on a daily basis, it does not hit you as hard. So I remember, fast forward in about, I think, 1991, thereabout. My mom comes home one day. She comes early. She comes with a pickup, and I'm so excited. She has come early. She wasn't used to coming early, so she has come early. I'm so excited, but I'm seeing a pickup and I'm wondering, okay, what is going on? I'm trying to say hi to my mom. She's not really excited to be home. She's just saying hi, but and then they get in and they start picking up stuff. And then my mind was like, okay, maybe they want to get the old stuff and bring in some new stuff. But then my mind I asked myself, okay, if they're getting out the old stuff and getting in the new stuff, where is the new stuff? Because the pickup was empty. So that happened. So now, before I started, figuring out what was going on and everything, then I realized later on, I realized, oh, she's leaving. Now, before we get into that, a few weeks before, I cannot remember exactly how many weeks before, but a few weeks before, there was a huge fight between my mom and my dad. Unfortunately, I was in the mix. Unfortunately, I was in the middle, in the sense of my mom wanted me to go to a particular school, and my dad, I think at that time, he had lost, he had quit his job because of some funny issues were going in there. And I think finances were a bit tight, thinking back, and just looking and trying to analyze a few things here and there. Finances were not that well, so we had to even switch schools. But my mom was insisted that she wanted me to go to a particular school because I was in a better place. I would think I was going to class 1 or grade 1 or whatever you want to call it. And it was easier for me to go to a new school than my brother and my sister were already in school, so it was different for them to change schools. So it was easier for me, and my mom insisted on this particular school. But my dad was saying, no, this is expensive. The way I know this is because I was in the middle of the argument. My dad would send me, tell your mom this, and my mom would tell your dad this. So I was in the middle, back and forth. So I know my memory is not good at what was going on, but I know for a fact now that I'm older, I know many things bring about arguments. I know for a fact there were other things that I was being told to communicate or anything, but that is what stuck with me because that was relating with me or to me. So I think that stuck, and And yeah, so that particular moment, the argument was about me. In my head, the argument was about me. Which school? My dad is saying, no, she's gonna do, no, you cannot afford it. And I don't want you to ask I don't know what. I think she had borrowed someone and my dad was not happy or whatever in the previous. That's all I remember. You're gonna borrow someone. Then my mom is saying, no, I'm gonna manage. And my dad is saying, no. And then it was a back and forth. So what I thought was, the argument was about me. So when my mom comes and starts picking things up, it immediately clicked. Oh snap, this is it, this is the argument, I'm the cause of this. So now I'm trying also again, the same pattern, trying to now go convince my dad, go convince my mom, go convince my dad again, go, trying to, okay, fine, whatever you guys can talk, whatever school you want me to go, I'm gonna go, but just don't let mom leave. Then I go back to mom, okay, you know what, I can talk to dad. I was frantic, a kid, wow. Anyway, I was just there, but eventually there's nothing that could be done, and I watched my mom leave, and she just left. And I tried even to call her as she's leaving. She never looked back. I could see her head was down. I think she was in tears. I never saw it, but that I think so. She never looked back. She just got into the car and drove, and then they drove away. And I'm here, I'm crying, and I'm trying to understand what is going on. My dad is holding me, just telling me to calm down. And eventually, I think my crying pissed him off. And he said, you know what, now if you continue crying, I'm going to give you something to cry about. And that is where it all started. That is where I started bottling up stuff. That is where I started, taking stuff in and just, because now this time, old folks of Kitambo, you guys know, when your dad says something, there's no argument. So that happened. And I remember now it was, wow. Looking back at it, I feel, I just, I don't even know. This is my story. This is my side of the story. I don't even know what my brother went through. I don't even know what my sister went through. And I've been all along, all my life, just been thinking it's all about me, it's all about me. But I realized that I don't even know. We've never even sat down and talked about how did this thing really get. How was it for you? What happened? What changed for you? But then again, unless you wear someone's shoes, you'll never actually know what they're going through, or what is happening in their life. But just thinking about it, it must have messed up a lot of stuff. And now you're there, and now this is the old school parenting. No one is telling you anything. They're just telling you life has to go on, life has to move on. You go to school, you do your thing, come back, that's it. And it was, wow. That was the first feeling of rejection. When I look back at my life, that is the first feeling of pain. That is the first feeling of unworthiness. You're feeling you're not worthy, that even your mom cannot look back to say hi or take you with her or whatever. That was the first feeling of everything. That is where it all started. And it's nowadays separation is like normal. I don't get it. Really, I don't. I have been separated. I have separated. I really don't get it. But it messes the children up. It really does. And I guess that's one of the reasons I try to hang on to my previous marriage, just hanging in there, because I had a beautiful daughter and I didn't want her to go through what I went through. But sometimes it's like you cannot stay in a toxic relationship just because of the kids. You have to. I'm sorry, I should not be propagating for this or, putting this fire on this, but sometimes you just have to. But if you don't have to, please don't. I know relationships are not rosy. I know relationships are not just honeymoon. I know they're not just, but if you don't have to, please don't. Please, please don't. Please don't. If you don't have to, please don't. it messes everything. It breaks the whole plan, and now different plans have to come up that were not planned for. It messes everything up. If you don't have to break up, if you don't have to separate, please don't. In the beginning, when God created man and woman, there was no purpose of them breaking up. And even the Bible says that divorce was brought about because people became hard-headed, that they just needed a way out. But that's not the plan of God. Even the Bible states that it is, God hates divorce. He hates it. That it gives on the only reason why you would divorce is if there is one party cheating. We call it infidelity, but God hates divorce. I just wanted to share that small bit, just for you to get an understanding of where this whole thing came about. But most importantly, about that separation bit, it's heavy. It's heavy, really heavy. And I would ask you, by the grace of God, if you don't have to, please don't. Work on your marriage. See a therapist. See who you have to see. Do what you have to do. Talk every day. Communicate. Do what you have to do. But please, if you don't have to, please don't separate. Don't do that. It messes everything up. Anyway, my time is up. Thank you. I hope that blesses you. I hope that really does bless you. God bless you. See you next Wednesday. Do have a blessed time. Thank you, and God bless you.